Stood this saying. When I first left, she thought she was just used to my care, so she couldn't adapt when I left like that, until she saw the gratitude agreement I signed with Mother Tang, along with many events that happened afterward. She finally realized her familiarity with me had long turned into affection. It was just that before, because of Song Jinian's presence, she overlooked these feelings. Now that she acknowledged these feelings, I had already left her world. The office door was knocked from outside. Then the assistant came in. Director Tang, tomorrow there's a new artist exhibition at the city center. You're invited to attend, only after the divorce. Tang Yuwei discovered how little she knew about me. When I returned from my inspiration-seeking trip, she thought I had suddenly become interested in painting. Later, she learned I had studied art since childhood. If not for giving up studying abroad to repay gratitude, I would have already become a new star in this field. Perhaps to understand me, perhaps also to be a little closer to me. Any art exhibition in Jiang City, she would attend. On the other hand, my classmates sent me the list of journalists and business people invited to attend this art exhibition, so I could prepare. When I saw Tang Yuwei's name on the list, I had a moment of blankness. My classmate, seeing my expression, quickly said, "If you don't want to see her, you can avoid appearing for interviews then." I smiled and shook my head. It's fine. From the first day I returned to the country, I knew one day they would meet. Can avoid the first day of the month, can't avoid the full moon. Besides, I have nothing to fear. What I owed her family has been repaid. Now we are just strangers. On the day of the exhibition, the crowd followed the directional signs, entering the gallery. Tang Yuwei also walked among the crowd. Over the years, she had attended many art exhibitions. She had some understanding of the paintings on the walls. Each painting was beautiful, until this painting appeared. No superfluous lines, just full, rich mountain scenery. Next to the nameplate, the title of this painting was written, Freedom. Somehow she suddenly thought of me. Married for 5 years, I was always revolving around her, waiting at home all the time. I lost myself. Without any freedom, the most normal thing became my desire. While in a daze, a familiar male voice reached her ears. She looked toward the sound, immediately saw the person she had been longing for day and night. In that moment, her world suddenly became silent. In her heart and eyes, only the man before her remained. At this moment, I was introducing my work to the person in front of me. Jiang Chen, I frowned slightly. Before I could turn my head, I was tightly embraced. The sweet perfume rushed into my nose. Tang Yuwei held me tightly, her body trembling continuously. Jiang Chen, you finally returned. I was about to push her away, when a figure moved faster than me, one hand pulling the woman away. Jiang Chen, are you okay? I shook my head. Liu Yu looked at the woman in front of him, his eyes cold. Tang Yuwei, how dare you face Jiang Chen? Just seeing her, Liu Yu remembered all the grievances I suffered during those 5 years, his anger growing. Tang Yuwei opened her mouth, still wanting to explain. I immediately spoke to stop him. Let's talk somewhere else. I don't want this art exhibition that my friends and I worked hard to prepare, ruined by her. Second floor cafe. Liu Yu stood in front of me and Su Wanru, confronting Tang Yuwei directly. Jiang Chen, and you are already divorced. Why are you still bothering him? Tang Yuwei looked past Liu Yu, seeing my cold face. Her heart felt like someone was squeezing it tightly, painful to the point she couldn't breathe. I had never treated her this way before. When she saw me again in that moment, she had so many words she wanted to ask me, but in the end, only one question. Jiang Chen, why did you divorce me? Wanru rolled her eyes. What a stupid question. I calmly looked at her. The debt of gratitude has been repaid. Of course I had to leave. From the moment she signed the divorce agreement, I knew my debt repayment would be revealed to her. So these 5 years, all the good things you did for me, were all just to repay gratitude? Tang Yuwei clenched her fists, trembling as she spoke. I remained calm, as if remembering something. I continued speaking. Since Mother Tang made me sign the gratitude agreement, our relationship was only about repaying gratitude. I also constantly reminded myself of this, so after signing, I immediately prepared a divorce agreement. To be honest, Tang Yuwei was the first woman I ever interacted with. I hadn't even entered society yet, before having to get married. My thoughts were simple, afraid of being deluded by those 5 years of false scenes. So I prepared a divorce agreement early. Whenever I felt myself starting to have feelings for her, I would take out the divorce agreement, reminding myself of the relationship and distance between us. Did I ever try to love Tang Yuwei? Perhaps yes. But just as feelings began to form, she abandoned me many times for Song Jingyan. Even a normal person would grow tired, let alone someone repaying gratitude like me. Not hating her was already good enough. A period of 5 years seems long if you say it's long. Long enough that I thought my whole life would be like that. Seems short if you say it's short. Short enough that in an instant, I was completely free from her. Going abroad. These emotionless yet realistic words kept following one after another. Tang Yuwei's face grew increasingly pale. Tang Yuwei, I have never, whether in the past, present, or future, I never had, and will never love you. Between us, there was only gratitude repayment. How she reacted, I didn't care at all. I just wanted to resolve this matter quickly, then go down to handle the exhibition. Tang Yuwei still intended to step forward to block me, but Liu Yu always stood in front of me. She could only watch helplessly as my back disappeared through the door. This exhibition was not affected by this small incident. In the end, it proceeded smoothly. To celebrate with me, Liu Yu and Su Wanru specially reserved a restaurant I liked, but before the food was served, a bouquet of fresh red roses was delivered. "Excuse me, who is Mr. Jiang? These are flowers Miss Tang sent. Miss Tang specially congratulates you on your successful art exhibition." I completely refused. Just asked the waiter to return them. "Please tell that Miss Tang, I don't like red roses. Red roses are what Song Jingyan likes. I only like climbing roses with thorns." The previously warm atmosphere suddenly became rigid. The waiter holding the roses was at a loss. Seeing, I wouldn't say anything more, the waiter finally left quietly, but this didn't affect Tang Yuwei. She still sent a bouquet of climbing roses to my studio every day. A bouquet of climbing roses hadn't even entered before being thrown into the trash. Once again at the art exhibition, Tang Yuwei deliberately blocked my way, wanting to ask why I didn't accept her flowers. I looked at her for a long time, suddenly smiled sarcastically. After all, we were married for 5 years. Yet she didn't understand me at all, because I don't like you. So I also don't like anything you give me. Tang Yuwei, why can't we part peacefully? I divorced you. Shouldn't you be the happiest person? She took a deep breath, as if something shattered in her eyes, her voice slightly trembling, instinctively stepping forward to grab my hand. "That's right, Jiang Chen. I, divorced from you? I don't feel happy. I got used to having you in my life. Only after you left did I discover the person I really like is actually you. Song Jingyan. Song Jingyan. My feelings for him were just childhood stubbornness. Now he's gone too. Why can't we go back to how things were?" My eyes flashed with panic. Those days of the past. Every day was torture for me. I didn't want to go back to those days at all. I shifted my body to avoid her hand. My voice also turned colder by a degree. "Tang Yuwei, listen to your own words. Your feelings for me are just habit, like a housekeeper. Just that other housekeepers are not like me, who would risk their life for you. Are you really sure that you like me? Listen to these words. Are you confident?" Tang Yuwei's face also paled. Since I entered the Tang family at 18, I had never seen her in such a dismal moment. Tang Yuwei was always proud, aloof, and superior. Now her face became so unsightly, just because I was no longer like before, following her words, instead directly exposing the true thoughts in her heart. I didn't look at her anymore, turned and left, but just as I left the studio, I suddenly received a call from Mother Tang. Speaking of Mother Tang, in my heart there was only gratitude. After all, Mother Tang gave me the opportunity to repay my debt. At that time, I had just started university. After paying tuition, not much remained. I also didn't want to owe the Tang family. Being able to use 5 years to repay gratitude, to settle the investment the Tang family made in me, was definitely the best method. Emotionally and rationally, I should visit. Liu Yu looked at me worriedly. "You and the Tang family are even now. There's no need to go to the Tang house again. What if the Tang family gives you trouble?" After Liu Yu was adopted, his adoptive parents showed him many things in high society, also told him many principles. Repaying gratitude wasn't just about helping Tang Yuwei escape emotional damage, but Mother Tang insisted on a young man giving up his future, his education, wasting 5 years in marriage. Truly too disgusting. Sure enough, Liu Yu was right. Mother Tang made small talk with me for a while, then shifted the topic to Tang Yuwei, beating around the bush, all about asking me to give Tang Yuwei another chance. Liu Yu was absolutely right. Tang Yuwei's emotional damage was caused by herself and Song Jingyan, yet they still wanted this innocent person to pull me back. No more education, no more future, no more freedom, and beautifully called it repaying gratitude, making me waste 5 years, even making me grateful to the Tang family. How could there be such a good deal in this world? Actually, I didn't want to at first. If I could finish university, study abroad, just delaying the gratitude repayment by a year or two, I could also repay the Tang family sponsorship with both principal and interest. It's just that Mother Tang spoiled her daughter too much. Couldn't bear Tang Yuwei suffering even a little, so she hurriedly pulled me down. Her daughter's life couldn't be ruined by this small matter, but whether my life was ruined or not, no one cared at all. Mother Tang looked at the handsome man in front of her. In her heart, besides satisfaction, there was also regret. Satisfaction that someone like this as a son-in-law of the Tang family wasn't bad. Regret that initially Tang Yuwei only had eyes for Song Jingyan, so she missed such a good son-in-law. But now that Tang Yuwei had also cut ties with Song Jingyan, if I could return as the Tang family's son-in-law, that would be good. After hearing Mother Tang's words, I said nothing. I just took out the bank card I had prepared, placed it in front of Mother Tang. The amount in here is twice the amount the Tang family initially sponsored me. If not for that gratitude repayment, I could have only been delayed by 2 years, and would have been able to repay both principal and interest of the Tang family's sponsorship. The Tang family likes to do charity work. I wasn't the only sponsored person. Each time the money was just transferred periodically to their bank card. Over the years, the Tang family never went looking for sponsored people, forcing them to repay gratitude. Perhaps I was too naive. Just happened to come to their door proactively. Now I understood. I just didn't have the energy to argue much. After speaking, I didn't look at Mother Tang's reaction anymore, took the bank card and left. Mother Tang was first surprised, an inexplicable anger rising in her heart, but then thinking of the Liu and Su families behind me, had to swallow this anger. Just as I left the Tang house, I ran into Tang Yuwei, returning. "Jiang Chen, Why did you come here? The woman's words carried surprise and shock. I sneered. Aunt Tang wants me to be like 7 years ago, giving up my future and career. Continue to waste time by your side. Tang Yui's face immediately turned pale, suddenly remembering 2 years ago, the agreement she had seen. In these 5 years of gratitude repayment, I had to give up everything, wholeheartedly stay by her side. Normal people would go crazy after staying for a year or two, let alone me having to stay for a full 5 years, plus her attitude towards me during those 5 years. My days over the past years were imaginably difficult. Pain spread throughout her body. She clenched her fists, muttering, "Sorry." I had long lost patience to hear her talk. Didn't even look at her once. Directly walked past her. Perhaps because of my words. In the following days, Tang Yue didn't come looking for me anymore. I also liked this tranquility, until the day of the Liu family party. As Liu Yu's brother, I was also invited. At the party, a harsh voice came from behind. "Why are you here?" I turned to see Tang Xian heading straight for me. After all, she was Mother Tang's daughter. Mother Tang couldn't bear to see her suffering in Australia, so begged Father Tang to bring her back to supervise. Seeing me, Tang Qian was full of resentment. "Why did you have to get divorced and made me go to Australia?" Exactly 2 years before Father Tang brought me back. Behind me was the Champagne Tower. Instinctively, I wanted to avoid, but slipped on the step. Jiang Chen, Su Wanru quickly grabbed me, pulled me behind her. Tang Qian couldn't stop in time, crashed straight into the Champagne Tower. A loud crash resounded. The guests all looked over, only to see Tang Qian falling into the Champagne Tower. Glass shattered all over the ground, her body also covered in blood. Qian. Tang Yue heard the sound, hurriedly ran over, wanting to help her up. Just as she touched her, Tang Qian groaned in pain. Beside, Su Wanru checked me from top to bottom, confirming I was okay, then turned back to look at Tang Qian lying on the ground. The Tang family is really well-mannered, rushing up to crash into Jiang Chen for no reason. Our Jiang Chen didn't do anything to you, if I remember correctly. 2 years ago, it was also Miss Tang and a group of people who pushed our Jiang Chen into the Champagne Tower. Hearing this, Tang Yue's outstretched hand froze in midair, looking at Su Wanru with complexity. I stood behind her, looking at the chaotic scene before me, my face full of sarcasm, facing the pointing gazes of others. Tang Qian's face reddened even more, not caring about anything else, pointing at me. "It's your fault. If not for you, why would I be sent to Australia?" With her family status, going to Australia could have been smooth sailing. Who knew Tang Yue was determined to teach her a lesson, even cut off her card. Each month she could only rely on Mother Tang's meager relief, struggling to get by. My fault? Initially, who looked down on me? Who mocked me? And who sent you to Australia? You haven't even thought clearly, yet blame me. I coldly said, "Tang Qian, did you forget something in Australia?" Hearing my implied criticism that she didn't bring her brain, Tang Qian tried to stand up to continue raging. Enough! Tang Yue turned to look at Tang Qian beside her, her words carrying a warning. "Australia? Haven't you stayed long enough? Sister, are you really speaking like this for his sake? What's so good about him? Skinny as a reed, doesn't have a good figure, doesn't have any presence. An orphan." Slap! I unexpectedly stepped forward and slapped Tang Qian. "So what if I am an orphan? Still better than someone with no manners like you." I turned to look at Tang Yue. "Tang Yue, control your family member better." Tang Yue clenched her fists, her face cold as she ordered the secretary beside her. "Song Nian, take the young miss to the hospital." Song Nian hesitated no more, hurriedly stepped forward, one hand covering Tang Qian's mouth, dragged her outside. Jiang Chen, Tang Yue full of guilt about today's incident. "I am sorry, Miss Tang. You're apologizing to the wrong person," I replied with a distant tone. She saw the butler hurriedly calling Liu Yu over. On the way there, Liu Yu had already heard the rough story from the butler's mouth. He walked over, not even looking at Tang Yue, who was about to apologize to me, only concerned about his wife and brother. "Are you hurt?" Seeing them shake their heads, Liu Yu then looked at Tang Yue. "Today's disturbance. My assistant will discuss compensation with Miss Tang after speaking." He asked the butler beside to take us upstairs to rest. This party was not ruined by a small incident until late at night. Tang Yue finally negotiated the compensation with the Liu family's butler, then returned to the Tang house. Only then did she discover the Tang house brightly lit. The servant, seeing her return, hurriedly stepped forward with concern. "Young miss, quickly go, persuade the master and young miss. After all, the young miss is still young." Tang Yue listened while walking through the main door, immediately saw Tang Qian kneeling on the ground, her face still bearing slap marks, and on the other side, on the sofa, Mother Tang bowed her head, quietly crying. Father Tang held a whip in his hand, his face full of anger, looking at Tang Qian. "I see these years you've been spoiled rotten. Who is Jiang Chen? What position does he hold in the Liu family? Yet you dare cause trouble." Most of the Tang family businesses are overseas, so Father Tang often stayed abroad for work. All matters large and small at home were handled by Mother Tang. Until this year, Father Tang shifted his focus back to the country. After hearing from the butler about what they did over these years, Father Tang grew increasingly furious. "Since you don't understand the rules, then stay in Australia. Never come back for the rest of your life." Tang Qian, kneeling on the ground, shouted. Tang Yue beside also hurriedly stepped forward to help her. "Father, Sister is still young. Young what? Over 20 years old and still acts brainlessly. You're the same. Know nothing except romance. Mother Tang beside saw her daughter being scolded. Couldn't help speaking up in defense. Father Tang, hearing Mother Tang's voice, remembered he had forgotten about Mother Tang. You too. Just heard that the daughter you carefully raised twice ended up in the hospital due to car accidents over a man, living worse than death every day. The anger that had just subsided in his eyes flared up again. These two don't understand anything. You also go make trouble. Your daughter is living worse than death over a man, and just let her die. The Tang family doesn't lack children. Your daughter at this age hasn't learned anything useful, only learned bad things. Not respecting her brother-in-law wasn't enough. Also bullying the elderly. What have you taught all these years? Tang Yue, hearing her mother and sister being scolded, felt even more unbearable. But one look from Father Tang made her stand still. Both of you get to the study. I'll deal with you later. The living room now empty with only Father Tang and Mother Tang. Father Tang looked at this stepwife, his eyes full of disappointment. Before going abroad, he knew he would be very busy, so he left his assistant and butler who had followed him to help him handle matters in the country. But before he could stay abroad for a month, the assistant and butler both came to find him. Upon inquiry, Mother Tang had just taken over and already made 3 aggressive moves. First was firing both of them, replacing them with her own people. After that, while he was abroad, he heard Tang Yue twice got into car accidents over her first love and abandoned her husband. He realized Tang Yue had been invisibly spoiled by Mother Tang. The Tang family members were originally decisive, absolutely not hindered by emotions, always putting family interests first. No matter how much emotional damage they suffered, they could quickly free themselves, not relying on a man's help for 5 years. And Tang Qian over the years also ran wild, bullying classmates at school, and Mother Tang just gave some money to settle matters with those who were bullied, without saying any harsh words to Tang Qian. This also led to after my marriage, being bullied by these two, and Mother Tang as a parent completely didn't manage it. From now on, I'll stay in the country. Your health is not good. Go to the recovery farm. One sentence determined the rest of Mother Tang's life. She looked at the man before her with tear-filled eyes. Do you hate me that much? Father Tang looked at his wife before him. If I really hated you, then the day I returned to the country, the divorce agreement would have been placed in front of you. After speaking, he didn't look at Mother Tang's reaction. Walked straight to the study. In the study, Tang Yue and Tang Qian looked at their father before them, silently, in the memories of the two sisters. Father was always abroad, rarely home. The two were closer to Mother Tang. The atmosphere in the study was silent for a moment. The clock on the wall ticked round after round. Father Tang finally spoke with a cold face. Tang Qian, from now on you will stay in Australia. Passport and such things I will have someone keep. Without my permission, you cannot return to the country. As for you, Father Tang looked up at his daughter before him. In his eyes, besides disappointment, was still disappointment for chasing after a man. Look at the company's financial report and see if you can understand it. From now on, the CEO, the position will temporarily be filled by your second uncle's son. You must start from the basics. When you have the ability, then we'll talk. As for the CEO matter, both your cards will be frozen. Each month, my assistant will send you both 10,000 for living expenses. Shares will also be temporarily recalled. Wait until you both truly understand matters, then we'll talk. With each word Father Tang spoke, Tang Qian's face paled further. Beside her, Tang Yue said nothing, but her hand hanging at her side clenched tightly. The news of the Tang family CEO being replaced quickly spread throughout high society. Su Wanru excitedly told me about it, while helping me pack my luggage. You've only been back for nearly a month. Going back to Italy again? I placed the last neatly folded item into the suitcase. I have to go. Initially, I returned just to organize an art exhibition with my class. After the exhibition ended, I should leave. But the Fu family had many complicated matters. Liu Yu and his wife could only stay in the country, waiting until everything was resolved before going abroad to find me. Moreover, if I don't leave, I'll certainly meet Tang Yue. Now she's no longer the CEO. She has more free time. I really don't have the energy to continue entangling with her. I closed the suitcase, lifted it, and placed it at the door. Su Wanru hurriedly went over, looking at me curiously. Do you still remember Song Jingyan? My hand paused. Song Jinyan. It had been a long time since I heard this name. Only remembered that. At that time, Song Jinyan followed his ex-wife back to America. What happened after that? I wasn't free to ask. Su Wanru held up her phone, opened it. Entertainment news from America appeared before my eyes. Song Jingyan was disabled. I suddenly widened my eyes. After reading the news, I learned that after Song Jingyan followed his ex-wife back to her country, life wasn't very good. Although his ex-wife protected Song Jingyan, her family was very dissatisfied with his behavior. Amid the criticism, Song Jingyan fell from the stairs in a daze, and just at this moment, rumors about Yang Ting with other men surfaced. Under multiple factors, the two broke out in arguments again. What happened afterward? They didn't know. Su Wanru put away her phone, because the Liu and Su families also had dealings. Song Jingyan knew she was my sister-in-law, asked her to convey his apology to me. After hearing her words, I remained silent. Logically, Song Jingyan and I should have no connection. When I married Tang Yue, Song Jingyan was already married and abroad. If not for Tang Yue always wavering between me and Song Jingyan. They wouldn't have come to this state. In the end, it's still Tang Yui's fault when they learned I was about to return to Italy and would not return in the future. Friends in the country sent me off. In a private room, wine bottles emptied one after another. We still felt unsatisfied. Then moved to a club. I feared Su Wanru would worry, so didn't follow them to the next spot. After waving goodbye to friends, I stood by the road about to hail a taxi home. A honk sounded from beside. Jiang Chen, get in the car. Recognizing the person in the car was Tang Yue, I instinctively frowned and stepped back. But the other party seemed like if I didn't get in, she wouldn't leave. Behind her car were several cars honking. Finally, I sat in the back seat. Tang Yue smiled without saying anything, drove away, until the car stopped outside the passenger side. Neither had said a word. When I thanked her and prepared to exit the car, Tang Yue in front suddenly called me, Jiang Chen. My hand on the door handle paused. I looked at the woman before me without understanding. Jiang Chen, if there wasn't that gratitude repayment, wasn't Song Jingyan, could we have been together? Her words carried a hint of hope, as if hearing something funny. I laughed, word by word saying, since you remembered Song Jingyan for so many years, we definitely wouldn't have worked out. From the rearview mirror, I clearly saw how cold the woman in the back seat was. Moreover, even without these things, we still couldn't be together. As a wife, you completely didn't understand me, didn't know what I avoid, didn't know my phone number, also didn't know what gifts to give me. You never cared about me from beginning to end, treated me as dispensable, only because I tried to be good to you these 5 years. You became uncomfortable when I left. That's not true affection. What is true affection? It's being faithful from beginning to end. It's responding to sincerity with sincerity. It's being able to clearly remember my every matter. It's determining to grow old with me. At that time, eliminating all unfavorable factors, firmly standing beside me, believing me, protecting me, listening to my explanations. When we have misunderstandings, not disappearing. When I encounter problems, being able to firmly choose me without hesitation. Which of these things can you do? A young lady carefully raised since childhood, only thinks others can love her. Never thought about how she should love others. If Tang Yue knew a little, she wouldn't have already been married. Repeatedly going abroad to find her first love, also wouldn't have when her first love was already married. Repeatedly comforting him in secret, causing unnecessary misunderstandings for Song Jingyan and his wife. I completely didn't care about her reaction. Still continued speaking. If not for this gratitude repayment, we would never have met. I would have my own life. Tang Yue blankly looked at me, bitterness filling her throat. She moved her lips wanting to say something, but in the end said nothing. Just silently watched me open the door and exit the car. When I was about to enter the mansion, a beam of headlights suddenly shone on my face. I instinctively raised my hand to shield my eyes, but heard a sharp screeching of brakes and Tang Yue's panicked voice. Jiang Chen, the perpetrator of this car accident, was Tang Qian. Now her mind was clouded by resentment, thinking that all of this was caused by me. She no longer cared about anything, struggled free from the restraining bodyguards, drove straight at me. Unexpectedly, I was pushed aside by Tang Yue with quick reaction. Apart from a few small scratches, I wasn't injured otherwise. However, Tang Yue, because Tang Qian continuously pressed the gas. Tang Yue not only became paralyzed in both legs, but also lay in the ICU for over a month, before the Liu and Su families could act. When he heard this news, Father Tang directly sent Tang Qian to prison. As for when she would get out, that remained unclear. During the hospitalization period, I also visited Tang Yue. After all, she risked her life to save mine. Looking at the person covered in breathing tubes, I sighed, my eyes full of complexity. The words I said in the car that time, Tang Yue finally listened. But for me, it was still too late. Too late. The reason Tang Yue saved me was just a belated compensation. I looked at her for a long time, finally stood up to leave because of her accident. My original plan to return to Italy had to be postponed. The following months, I stayed at the Fu family home to recover. One morning, I heard Tang Yue had woken up. When she learned who hit her was Tang Qian, and that she was paralyzed in both legs, she had no reaction. Instead, was very calm. Until today, I packed my luggage again, but found a ring from the drawer. This was the ring I found when jumping into the sea that year. Later, Tang Yue used this ring to propose to me. During the 5 years, the ring, due to poor preservation, the diamond attached to it had fallen off. The band had also rusted. I stroked this ring for a long time. Perhaps the question Tang Yue asked me in the car then. This ring was the best answer. In these 5 years of marriage, it was always me unilaterally contributing. She enjoyed the fruits of my contribution, without nurturing from both sides. Our marriage had already become like this ring, rusty. So whether or not there were outside factors, our marriage without her contribution could never reach the end. I placed the ring in a box, asked the butler to deliver it to Tang Yue. When Tang Yue saw this ring, she was lost in thought for a long time. In her memory, she had never given me any gift. The only small ring was even transferred to Song Jingyan. Her good friend visiting her when seeing this ring suddenly exclaimed in surprise, "Isn't this the ring we threw into the sea during that bet?" She looked straight at the ring in her hand, suddenly also remembered that day they due to a bet, threw this ring into the sea, promising whoever went with their boyfriend could find the ring, then the land in the north of the city would belong to that person. Although it was a bet, they were still careful, tightly tied the ring to a fishing line. used a fishing rod to throw it into the sea, but even so, no one dared to jump into the sea, except me. I, with a calm face, asked the person who proposed this bet, "Is this bet real?" After receiving a correct answer from the other party, and the land transfer document already stamped with fingerprints, I jumped into the sea without hesitation. When seeing the thin person swallowed by the waves, her hand gripping the railing turned pale. An unprecedented panic rose in her heart. In that moment, she even wanted to jump into the sea with me. A moment later, I surfaced from the sea, hand tightly gripping that ring. When she held me tightly to her chest, she was filled with fear, along with a puzzling emotion, afraid I would disappear into the sea. Until now, she finally knew that emotion was affection, was love, turns. For out from the moment I jumped into the sea to find the ring, she already liked me. A belated regret filled her entire body. She covered her face and sobbed. The butler only returned to the Fu mansion late at night. Along with the butler was a car of gifts. I looked at these gifts without understanding. The butler hurriedly explained, saying that Tang Yue, after seeing that wedding ring, cried for a long time. Finally called someone to prepare a whole car of gifts, said it was compensation for me. I looked at the pile of gifts for a long time, finally still opened them one by one. It was also at this moment I discovered Tang Yue's compensation gifts, included from my first year to my 18th year. In addition, during the 5 years of marriage, birthdays, anniversaries, New Year, Valentine's Day, she prepared corresponding gifts for each. Each was something I liked. Just one phone call would have resolved it. She was late by exactly 7 years. I put down the last gift, stood up and said to the butler, "Sell them all. Donate the proceeds to the orphanage." The departure day grew closer. This farewell, also not knowing when we would meet again. So Li Yu and Su Wanru canceled all matters, taking me all around the city, from seaside sunsets to the highest point of the Ferris wheel, from candied haw on the street to desserts and high-end restaurants. This was the time I lived most happily in over 20 years. Su Wanru, while putting food into my bowl, advised, "Eat more. After going abroad, it's hard to find this taste." Although they had arranged for a chef and servant to go with me, but wanting to abroad perfectly recreate this taste was completely impossible. I obediently nodded, eating each bite of food Su Wanru served. On the farewell day at the airport, I met Tang Yue after a very long time. Not knowing her purpose for coming, looking at the woman sitting in a wheelchair, I momentarily felt heartache, but she seemed not to notice, smiled and said, "Jiang Chen, goodbye." When returning to Italy, I didn't go back to the old apartment, but moved into the villa. Liu Yu and his wife prepared for me. The 2 servants brought along quickly tidied the house. The chef also cooked food for me. The following week, besides meeting friends not seen for a long time, I also looked for venues to hold art exhibitions. Though busy, I lived happily, until that evening. I received a phone call, not from Liu Yu, not from Su Wanru, but from Mother Dean. Mother Dean said Mother Tang had passed away. The Dean wasn't clear about the complexities between me and the Tang family. Just felt Mother Tang had sponsored me. If possible, I should return to bid Mother Tang farewell. Finally, I still returned to the country once more, seeing the Tang house hung with white cloth. My heart also became heavy. After all, she was someone who once sponsored me. Coming to see was fine. Entering the funeral home, I also saw many people sponsored by the Tang family. They nodded but didn't communicate. Over the phone, the dean also briefly told me about the cause of Mother Tang's death. Originally in poor health, after being sent to the recovery farm by Father Tang, her health weakened further. The matters of Tang Qian going to prison and Tang Yue being paralyzed were also kept secret. Until that day, Mother Tang suddenly wanted to talk with Tang Qian. In Mother Tang's memory, Tang Qian was only sent to Australia, but when she called, no one answered. In panic, she asked the servant. The servant then stammered the truth. How could someone in prison answer her call? In anger, Mother Tang suffered a heart attack relapse, died on the spot. When I entered the funeral home, I immediately saw Father Tang with completely white hair, and Tang Yue sitting in a wheelchair with a hardened face. I held chrysanthemums, stood before Mother Tang's portrait, bowed 3 times, placed the chrysanthemums before the portrait, looking at Mother Tang's portrait, lost in thought for a long time. Regarding Mother Tang, my feelings were very complex. To say I was grateful, Mother Tang had ruined 5 years of my youth. To say I hated her, Mother Tang had sponsored me, allowing me to continue my studies, but the dead cannot return to life. Everything in the past, all dissolved with Mother Tang's death. I looked at Mother Tang's portrait one last time, then went before Father Tang, slightly bowed. "Uncle, please grieve less." Father Tang nodded, but said nothing. Then I went before Tang Yue, looked at her for a long time, finally said softly, "Please grieve less." Tang Yue smiled bitterly, also said nothing, because it was a close relative who passed away. Tang Qian, who was in prison, was also escorted out by police. After time in prison, Tang Qian's face no longer showed arrogance. Her whole body only showed hardness. Even when seeing me, she had no reaction, until seeing Mother Tang's portrait. Tang Qian suddenly knelt down, sobbing uncontrollably. Mother, the mourners beside, unable to bear watching, turned away. On Mother Tang's burial day, a light rain fell. Mother Tang passed away. Other families also sent people to pay respects. Also on this day, Liu Yu and Su Wanru discovered I had secretly returned, but they didn't say anything. but I still explained to them both. Su Wanru hugged me. If you are forced, we won't let them off either. At the cemetery, Su Wanru and I shared an umbrella, watching Mother Tang's coffin slowly lowering into the ground. Beside us, Tang Qian cried until nearly fainting. Behind her, 2 police officers held her firmly. After the burial finished, the mourners gradually left. Su Wanru and I walked at the very back, discussing upcoming plans. Jiang Chen, Tang Yue suddenly called me from behind. Turning around, I saw her soaked in rain, looking at me. Can you walk with me for a bit? Su Wanru looked at me with concern, just a frown from me. Su Wanru would immediately refuse on my behalf. I gripped the umbrella tightly but then relaxed. The rain grew heavier. I sheltered Tang Yue with my umbrella as I walked beside her. The Tang family butler hurriedly ran over, both holding an umbrella for Tang Yue, and pushing her toward the cemetery gate. Jiang Chen, I don't have a home anymore. The butler's steps pushing the wheelchair stopped. I also stopped and looked at her. Mother died. Sister, imprisoned, self-crippled. Father focused on training a new heir, also rarely returns home. Even at this funeral, he was the first to leave. I was about to speak, but realized I had nothing to say. What could be said? The way they treated me all these years. Wasn't it the same? Perhaps thinking of this point, Tang Yue suddenly laughed bitterly. If only we could start over. Then I could have loved you wholeheartedly. We wouldn't have come to this point. I also wouldn't be alone for life. But regrettably, there's no medicine for regret in this world. Tang Yue. The rain sound separated all the mixed noises outside. She heard my words clearly for the first time. Life offers no chance to regret and redo. We can only move forward. Whether it's you or me, we can all continue moving forward. We will not have the chance to start over. This is the 3rd year after divorce. Between us, finally able to calmly talk for the first time. Let's part ways peacefully, when we just met again. I had said this to her. At that time, she was full of thoughts about how to pursue me again. Completely didn't understand the farewell in my words. The rain suddenly stopped. I also put away the umbrella, heading toward the gate. Don't meet again in the future. My silhouette gradually disappeared from her sight. Goodbye, Jiang Chen.